Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. I am your host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. Happy Big Game Sunday to those that celebrate. We can't say the words here, but unless you live under a rock or 6 feet under, you know what's going on today in the world of sports. The biggest sporting game of the world in football. We need to say, not say more. We're happy you're joining us on your Big Game Sunday as we come to you at an earlier time so you can enjoy that big game. Of course, I'm Never Wrong Nick Bull. Glad you're here. Joining me is my tag team partner, the co-host of this show. And we are co-champs of the For Frequency Tag. We're co-champs of the For Frequency Sake Network. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing, bud?
Man, I am doing pretty decent. I feel good. I know we're a little earlier to accommodate people and that sports ball thing that's going on later today. So I know some of our fans will want to watch that. I'm not going to be watching it. I'll be watching wrestling. But that's
I'm probably going to watch it. Why not? I mean, I've watched wrestling all week. I'll probably watch wrestling up until the game. But I will watch the game and hopes for a good game. I could care less who wins. I really wish there was a halftime heat this year. That would be really cool.
That would be.
I think with the popularity of WWE right now and with how hot they've been coming off the Royal Rumble and the Saturday night's main event before it, it'd be time to do one. But I digress. Welcome to episode 173 of the Card Subject to Change podcast. Hey, we're Card Subject to Change for a reason. Due to circumstances unforeseen by us and our guest this week, he's not able to make the show. So the show must go on, and we're here to tell you the show does go on. So whether we have to sit here and tap dance for the next 60 minutes, we're going to give you a show. Because when a 727 takes off, it doesn't just stay in the air; it's got to land. So we essentially promote a show. We're taking off. We're taking off. We're going to take you on a ride. On this 727 that's high in the sky. We got to land this 727. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a show here today. And What's the show going to be about? I don't know. This might be the first fan-driven show. We might just go strictly off the comments here. As I try to sit here and figure out where to sit in the sun. I'm going to sit back like this. I seem to look okay here. Look okay, I know. Used loosely. But no. The title of the show is not another ridiculous stipulation match in AEW. This is essentially a two-man scramble right here between CZ and I to give you the best possible wrestling podcast we can in the allotted time. I know a lot of stuff going on in wrestling, CZ, and a lot of times we kind of go back and forth. Hey, what are you watching this week type of deal? And it seems like a layup. We could do that every week for a show, and I think turn on fans to matches and stuff that are worth watching or maybe they haven't seen before. But I'm going to ask you, and then I know you probably watched some more stuff this week than I have, but I'm going to go into what I've been watching as well.
Yeah, we're gonna drop some knowledge, maybe a little wisdom on our peeps today. It's gonna be fun. You know, I'll be honest. I've stayed pretty close to the main show, the main product. Nick Morrison and Don Moxley right here. That's us.
We're here now. I do wear these glasses pretty much all the time. But today it's kind of necessary. The sun's coming in. We usually don't record at this time. Usually we're later on Sundays, but we pushed it up today due to the big game. And now the sun's kind of coming in. But, Nick Morrison and Don Moxley in the building. I'm your host, Nick Morrison. Joining me is Don Moxley. But go ahead, CZ, with what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, you are perfectly fine. You threw that up, and I had to make comment there. No, I've been sticking pretty close to main product, but I'll start. I kind of bounce around when I throw on Peacock. I really do. Like, I'll throw something on that I know will continue for a little bit into the next event just to fall asleep to. Like, for example, I've had on Great American Bash to fall asleep to, starting from the beginning and just letting it roll for a couple nights. But when I'm really paying attention and focused and not watching the main product, I've been kind of going through a Nitro rewatch. I don't know. I just felt inspired to do so, and I'm still at the very beginning. It's October, the end of October in 1995, so about a month or so, give or take, after Nitro began. And if you want some absolute silly shit, go back and watch Halloween Havoc from 1995. I mean, from the start of Nitro basically until the NWO took over, if you want silly shit, it's right there, and his name is Hulk Hogan. I'm not gonna pull punches, but
we all know what the opening match of that Halloween Havoc was in '95.
Yeah. Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
We talked about that opening match of Halloween Havoc before '95, or was that '94?
I think that was '94 or '97.
Or where Abdullah the Butcher gets electrocuted. I think that's '94.
No, that's earlier than that. That I believe is earlier than that. '95. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, I want to know. Halloween Havoc '95 is kind of intriguing because I believe Hogan got to WCW in fall of '94. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. This is Halloween Havoc '95, so October '95. So yeah, this is definitely pre-NWO Hogan we're talking about with this show.
I'll tell you something though. During this brief stint here, Hogan, known for wearing the red and yellow, he's feuding in a long-standing feud with the Dungeon of Doom, led by the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan, and they shave off his mustache at one point, so he, for the first time, dons the black attire. He's got the trunks with the tights with the lightning on him, a black shirt, a black bandana, and no mustache. It's a really weird look for him. So he did wear the black for a short time before the NWO began. The thing that stands out, I'll tell you one of the opening match here, just since you asked, is Johnny B. Bad versus Diamond Dallas Page for the World Television Championship. But one of the taglines for this event is "The man becomes the monster, and the monster becomes the man." And like I said, you want to talk about silly shit.
Is Flair on this card?
He is. We'll get there.
The man becomes the monster, woo! And the monster becomes the man, woo!
No, not quite. So, just to give you a little history, Hogan had his beloved Harley Davidson run over by the Dungeon of Doom monster truck. So,
doesn't every heel faction have a monster truck on retainer?
They should, if they don't.
The Dungeon of Doom with Later work here.
Well, Hogan was hellbound.
Who's your favorite Dungeon of Doom member?
Oh, can I say the Yeti?
Sure you can.
I mean, I don't know that is, but he's definitely up there. I mean,
was he ever a member of the Dungeon of Doom?
He was.
Okay, no, that's your member then. That's fine.
Who is your favorite member of the Dungeon of Doom?
Oh, probably Zodiac.
Okay, that's fair.
Zodiac or the Shark?
Well, remember, he's not a shark, he's a man.
Shark
But that happened later.
Not Shark Man, but the Shark. And for those of you at home that are not familiar, Zodiac was Brutus the Barber Beefcake in WCW, and the Shark was John Tenta, aka the Earthquake in WCW. But those, probably those two guys were my favorite of Dungeon of Doom. Oh no. Meng for sure.
Yeah, can't leave out the Faces of Fear. Meng definitely was.
Meng for sure. Then Zodiac, then the Shark. But yeah, go ahead.
But Hogan at this time is hell-bent to make a bigger, badder monster truck. And the semi-headline for this event is the Hulkster monster truck against the Dungeon of Doom monster truck in a monster truck sumo match on top of Cobo Hall.
How would you like to have been a wrestler and showed up on the day of the show and know that you're not on the card because you've been replaced by a monster truck? Now, I know everything's recycled in wrestling, but I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that the monster truck angle in wrestling probably never happens again on a high level.
Not to my knowledge.
But Hogan, not worrying about his in-ring, is worried about building a bigger monster truck. Man, you got me hooked. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
So the concept of this match, they're in Detroit. The monster truck sumo match takes place on top of Cobo Hall. There is a ring of construction barricades around the monster trucks. The fronts are welded together, and you have to push your opponent's monster truck completely out of the circle.
Was this the main event?
No. The main event, like I said, the monster becomes the man. This is the monster part. When the man becomes the monster. This is the monster part. When the monster becomes the man, that is your main event because they go back into the arena for the Giant to take on Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Or at least that's what the plan is. Everybody is speculating because after the sumo monster truck match, even more silly shit. I mean, as if you couldn't get silly enough with a sumo truck.
We're sitting here and kind of, ripping this apart, tongue-in-cheek type of deal, but you got to go back to 1995. I mean, this was kind of a big deal. I know it sounds silly and outlandish now, but people were eating this up. I wasn't one of them. I wasn't watching a lot of WCW back in the day, so hearing CZ talk about this, I vaguely remember this, and probably have seen clips of it at some point or another. But I know we're laughing at it, but people watched, people done this. I'm saying.
And the thing that's most memorable happened after the end of the sumo monster truck match. Hogan wins. Hogan pushes the Dungeon of Doom truck outside the circle. And they both get out of their trucks, and the Giant starts chasing down Hogan. They fight to the edge of the roof of Cobo Hall, and they are 5 stories up. And the Hulkster, the gigantic face that he is, the face of the nation, the face of the universe in any wrestling promotion before the NWO, inadvertently throws the Giant off of the top of the building. And he plummets 5 stories. We don't see the plummet. We just see the initial drop. But will the Giant be able to make it to the main event is the question of the night from that point on.
And will Hulk Hogan be charged with attempted murder?
Right. You would think so, wouldn't you?
And you thought Rey Mysterio was the first person to get thrown off a roof during the pay-per-view. It was the Giant. It was the Giant.
It was.
There's some wild times, man. Monster trucks on top of arenas, and people were buying this. I don't know, but go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off from what you were explaining.
No, you are perfectly fine. That is pretty much it, at least for that angle. Notable appearances by. So the build for this with Ric Flair. You mentioned Ric Flair. He is definitely on this card. Ric Flair is currently feuding with former Horseman brethren Flying Brian Pillman, and Arn Anderson. And Ric Flair has begged Sting to be his partner against these two. Well, early in the night, Flair gets knocked on the head and is not in the match.
He's begged who?
What's that?
Who's Ric Flair begging for a partner?
Oh, my apologies. It's Sting!
For those in the back, it's Sting!
Well, of course, Sting doesn't trust Ric Flair because he's the dirtiest player in the game. And we find out with good reason. This was all a ploy so that the Horseman could beat the crap out of Sting. Flair faked an injury early in the night, doesn't show up for the first part of the match, comes out, and then shortly after he is tagged into the ring, Sting gets clobbered by everybody.
Poor old Sting. He's never going to learn, is he?
No.
He's never going to learn. Horseman beating down Flair. Sounds like Horseman business. I remember hearing about all this stuff at school, this WCW stuff at schools at the time. I think I might have had cable by then. It's kind of was dipping my toes into WCW at this point, but didn't know enough about the backstories like I already knew about WWE. So this was still kind of foreign to me. So yeah, I get it about going back and watching WCW stuff. I've kind of been doing the same thing too.
And my entrance into WCW was very much the NWO. So before the NWO, I have one strong memory of WCW, and that is coming up in my rewatch, but not for a few months. That is something that I really hope we get to review with our Ugly Sweater Party shows in December at some point, and that is Uncensored 1996.
Okay, that's gonna be that's in the queue, I guess, right?
Yes.
That's in the queue. I have kind of hopped around stuff on what I've been watching lately, and curiosity got the better of me the other day, and I actually went over to YouTube and checked out the WWE Vault channel.
Okay.
I'm going to use this time as a PSA, as a public service announcement for you out there that don't know what a PSA is, and tell you that there is a load of stuff on the WWE Vault. I kind of thought it was just like, oh, they posted stuff here or there and updated it maybe monthly. It looks like they're throwing stuff up there on the regular. What more? I'm not saying the Vault has more than Peacock, but the Vault has more stuff getting thrown up on it as opposed to what's new on Peacock. I remember a couple weeks ago when the WWE announced they found a lost ECW house show from 2006 from the in this video it's the Opera Arena, but it's the ECW Arena essentially. So they were going back to a house show at the ECW Arena. They actually interview a bunch of fans beforehand, kind of show the wrestlers milling around backstage. But I was a little let down with it. It's cool that it's there, but it's all just kind of raw video. And it's all shot off of one cam, and it's the cam at ringside. It's like the handheld or whatever at ringside. So I'll tell you, go there and check it out. It's kind of cool to see some stuff from 2006 in the old ECW Arena, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. But in looking for that and watching that show, I found some other stuff that I'm definitely going to go back and check out. Definitely a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff you wouldn't see anywhere else. And there's some rare stuff on there as well. So I encourage our fans, our listeners, fans of wrestling to go check out the WWE Vault page over on YouTube.
Yeah, it definitely sounds worth it. I've got it on my list of things to do, so I think that sounds like fun. I'm anxious to see what they have.
But now we're still talking about WCW. I'm going to tell you what I've really been spending my time on recently. A friend of mine recommended this show to me, and if you've never been to Waterloo for their Hall of Fame ceremony, or Hall of Fame weekend, you've got legends back, you get to meet them, type of deal, in a pretty low-key setting. It's a fun thing. I think I've done it the last 3 years. I think you've went with the last 2 years season.
Yes.
There. And this WCW show is kind of like Waterloo in the fact that all these legends are on it. I'm talking about Slamboree 1994, the tagline, a Legends Reunion, a night with the classics, one ring, one moment, one mega event. So this is WCW pre-Hogan. And it's really, really cool because I'm going to give you the pay-per-view starts out and they're introducing all these legends who are on hand. And it's all WCW's Hall of Fame night. So you got to imagine some of these guys are going in later. So I'm going to list off all these names right now that were part of this Legends reunion. And it's kind of something to go back and because you don't get to see a lot of legends in one place at one time anymore. So on this night, we had Ole Anderson, Penny Banner, Red Bastien, Tully Blanchard, The Crusher, Don Curtis, Terry Funk, Vern Gagne, Hard Boiled Henry, Larry Hennig, Killer Kowalski, Ernie Ladd, Wahoo Daniel, Angelo Mosca, Harley Race, Ray Stevens, Ruth X, Johnny Weaver, Mr. Wrestling 2, and of course the famous referee Tommy Young. Later in the night, the assassin Ole Anderson, Harley Race, and Ernie Ladd, The Crusher, and Dick the Bruiser were all inducted to the WCW Hall of Fame. So they kind of set the tone for the night early on and show you that this is about the legends. It's Philly, so you've got the Philly crowd who is always rabid for blood. And in this case, they love Terry Funk. They absolutely love Terry Funk. But a good list of matches on this show. I'm not going to sit here and give you spoilers, but I'm going to talk about a couple matches. Opening match is for the U.S. heavyweight title. Stunning Steve Austin, Johnny B. Bad. It is a fantastic match. Then we get a singles match. Terry Funk and Tully Blanchard. Crowd absolutely fire for it. We get another singles match. We get your television champion, Lord Steven Regal, in a non-title affair against Larry Zbyszko. Another excellent match. Prime Lord Steven Regal. A bull rope match. Yep. A young Dustin Rhodes against Bunkhouse Buck. And if you go back and watch this, you'll notice with Bunkhouse Buck, he is from Buck Snort, Tennessee. The same town that Mance Warner claims to wrestle from, Buck Snort, Tennessee. I wonder if that's a tribute or a nod to Bunkhouse Buck. I don't know. Ric Flair, Barry Windham. Your main event for the vacant WCW International World Heavyweight Championship, Sting and Big Van Vader. And then I'm going to save this one here.
Wait, who's in that match? Thank you very much.
Okay. My favorite match on the card, it may be the best no disqualification tag team match that's out there. And file this match in matches to watch that are under 10 minutes. The Broad Street Bully match, of course, a nod to the Philadelphia Flyers and their known hockey line. For the WCW Tag Team Championship, we've got Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan against the current champions of the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Staggs. This match is freaking awesome. If you're looking for drop toe holds and reverse chin locks, it's not for you. But these four guys beat the crap out of each other and throw whatever they can at each other in under 10 minutes, 9:56 exactly. And it's not cheesy. It's physical. It's in your face. It is awesome. If I could tell anybody to go out there and watch a match this week, this is my match to watch. Slamboree 94, the Broad Street Bully match for the WCW Tag Team Championships. Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan taking on Brian Knobbs, Jerry Staggs.
And that's where you recommended this to me. I turned it on. That is where I am at. I'm about to start that tag match. So I'm excited. You got me excited.
Has it been a fun show so far?
What's that?
You've seen this piece. Have you enjoyed the show so far?
Yeah, I really have. And, one thing I messaged you this earlier, watching that bull rope match between Dustin and Bunkhouse Buck, the fans, I don't think I have ever heard a fan chant of "We want blood."
Yeah, this is 94 in Philly, so it's a very ECW laden crowd with their fans. They want hardcore, and they get hardcore here. Like when I say hardcore, you're not going to see light tubes. You're not going to see, glass. But these guys, for the better part of 10 minutes, just tear the arena apart and each other. And I really like this show. I messaged a buddy and I said, hey, I want to watch a good show when WCW was still good and the booking wasn't bad. And this is what he threw me back. And it's WCW before Hogan gets there. So you got guys working like Stunning Steve Austin, Rick Rude, guys who are good workers who are out there putting on good matches and they're being appreciated type deal. It's kind of bittersweet because Bischoff is moving up the ranks, and as soon as Bischoff has full control, then goodbye to Stunning Steve Austin. But Austin is still with WCW at this time and is the U.S. champion. And wow, that's a good message. This show, top to bottom, is really good. And if you're ever hankering to watch a show, I can't endorse Slamboree 94 enough.
Yeah, Slamboree 94. Go out of your way, check it out. It's well worth it, and I'm not even all the way through it. I've enjoyed what I've seen of it so far. Well worth your time. Nick, let's take a quick time out. I know we can talk about so much more, but let's pay some honors to our fellow shows on the network, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we will be right back.
For frequency's sake, has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Card Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. Whoa, that ain't me.
Hey, I just wanted to take a minute. We announced it on socials. We are officially partnering with Shotgun Wrestling Radio and Zach Takis for our pre-show podcast shows. Zach and I will be at it again. I want to advertise that real quick here. Tune in on Saturday at 6 o'clock on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can also catch it on the Central Empire Wrestling Facebook page. We will be at Central Empire Wrestling's Mall Madness 2. Like I said, the pre-show starts at 6. Doors open at 6:30 if you want to head to Oskaloosa. It's going to be worth it. Looks like a really stacked card. 5 good matches coming at you. So I'm excited. I love that we're partnering with Zach and Nick. I hope you are. I know you. Family comes first, and you have a lot of family stuff going on. So I hope you're able to join us soon.
It's all good. It's all good. I was just giving you a hard time. I'm like, that ain't me. That's not me. Have you been cheating on me, mister? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So, we're going to use the second part of this show here to kind of tell you what's coming up besides that pre-show podcast party. What's coming up in the coming weeks?
Yeah, so we have next week. I'm pulling up the calendar right now. I know next week is both NXT's Vengeance Day and AEW's Grand Slam coming from Australia. Now, me being at that pre-show party, I will be watching those on delay. But we are going to talk all things NXT and AEW next week. The week after that, we're going to be a day late, but we will not be $1 short. I promise you that.
Oh, he's been dying to say that, haven't you?
Maybe just a little bit. We have Noelle Summit, the Marionette. I had the pleasure of seeing this young lady in action at an Honor Among Wrestling show. I was there because Chris Masters was there. I wanted to meet him. And this young lady is very talented. Thanks to Rob Kammerer, who is currently sitting in his hot tub full of pizza rolls, for suggesting we bring her on. I'm anxious to hear her story. And then, of course, after that, we're going into April. And you know what April means? Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're going into March. I'm dumb. Hi, Don Moxley here.
Yeah, Don Moxley for sure.
First part of March is the Elimination Chamber. And
it's March 1st, isn't it? Or is it
March? Yes, the show is March 1st. We'll be reviewing it on the 2nd.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm anxious to see how people's WrestleMania roads get drawn out here, particularly John Cena and CM Punk.
It's going to be interesting. Things are happening on Raw. Things are happening on SmackDown. But we're going to try something interesting here. This is Two-Man Scramble on the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. We are powered by Lopez Pizza. We are built by Denver Remodel. We are colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. And, of course, we are protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. I am going to do something that I have thought about doing on this show for quite some time.
All right.
If you follow, we like to collect wrestling cards here and there. And I have got some wrestling cards here right beside me. I was just going through some before we went on the air. CZ was sitting here by me, and we were just talking about different stuff, and I was just going through some cards. We're going to do a little game here where I'm going to pull a card up. I'm going to show you the card. And you're going to tell me the first memory or the best match that you can remember of this guy.
Ooh.
Okay. We're in development right now. This is development, okay? This show's in development right now. We're trying something new. Here is the first one, and I'll try to get the camera right. First card I pull up, I want you to tell me what do you think of when you see this guy? or gal in the first match or the most memorable match you can think of when you see them, okay?
All right.
Here we go. Let me know if you can see that.
No. Nah. Pull it back a little bit. It's kind of it's got a glare. I think you froze there, Nick. I think you're a little
I'm here.
I still can't tell who that is. I'm sorry. You're a little blurry on my end. Or maybe it's my eyes.
I think it's your eyes. It's the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say. Is it X-Pac, but you said the 1, 2, 3 kid. First thing that comes to mind, definitely him pinning Razor Ramon.
Okay.
That fluke pin and the friendship that developed after that on the air.
Okay. So your go-to thing, your memory is 1, 2, 3 kid, is him pinning Razor Ramon and the friendship that came out of it. Okay, I think that's fair. I always go back to the King of the Ring '94, the opening round match with Owen Hart. That's what I think of when I think of 1, 2, 3 kid. That's one of the better singles matches around that are out there, and it's kind of an introduction to the character. I know he also played X-Pac. If that would have been X-Pac, I would have said, first thing I think of when he debuted, he made the biggest debut on a Raw after WrestleMania of all time. And joining DX after formerly being the NWO, being the first, actually the second member of both DX and the NWO, if you want to run and remember Ravish and Rick Rude. But I'm going to throw, if you have nothing else about 1, 2, 3 kid, I'm going to throw another card up here for you.
Bring it on.
Okay. I hope this one's not a case. Maybe that'll help.
Now that one is too dark for me to see.
Too dark.
Yeah. Oh, that's Rick Steiner right there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That is Rick's. That's Rick. And there's a dog on the card. So I thought maybe we'd get a wolf out of you. Rick Steiner.
Oh man. The biggest thing that comes to mind is him always wearing the headgear. The headgear and the barking. And the feud that him and his brother had with Harlem Heat. I can't think of a specific match off the top of my head, but that feud was magical.
Okay. That's fair enough. Here's another one.
That's dark also. I can't see that at all, my friend.
Really?
Turn it a little bit. Oh, Liv.
Yeah.
Liv. Oh, man. Obviously, the first memory of her, I think more of her now and her prominence in the WWE, but obviously got to give a shout out to her time in the Riot Squad when she first got called up. Her, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho, if you will now.
I forgot about that. Good call.
It's easy to forget about. It was a blip on all of their radar or all of their timelines, in my opinion, that often gets overlooked. But Liv's run now, this is the best Liv Morgan that we have ever had, and possibly the best Liv Morgan we might ever have. I don't know. I can see her getting better. I could see even more bigger, better things for her, and just carrying the title and carrying the company on the women's side of things for a while Rhea was injured, and that feud with Rhea, well done.
Yeah, I think Liv Morgan really, you brought up some good points there with the Riot Squad and her call up. I think after she won that Money in the Bank match, she became something of sorts that, okay, now we've got to consider her more. Now we need to really pay attention when she's on the screen. Now we got to pay attention to what.
Oh, and Nick dropped off. That is quite all right. I'm going to message him real quick. But yeah, he was talking about Liv Morgan and her prominence, her winning the Money in the Bank and just being right there. Yes, I am someone to watch. Is how she how she is now. That Money in the Bank win just cemented her in the picture of the women's division. Sorry, give me just a second here. I'm messaging him. He's probably trying to get back in. He knows he dropped. I'm sure he does. Trying to get back in here. Throw another quarter in the internet machine, Mr. Nick Bull, Mr. Never Wrong. I will go off of some comments. We've got Stryker, our good friend, in the comments. And he mentions, I've been to one Dreamwave show. Nick has been to several. The next show, the April show, I believe it's April, is when their next show is. Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler. That's a huge guest. Former TNA champion, former WWE World Champion. Go out of your way to go to that show. I wonder I'm excited to see who else they announce. Dreamwave is always a fun time. If you can't make the show live, they are on IWTV. Nick is making his way back in, I promise. So I'm going to tap dance in the meantime. Stryker also asked, and I'll ask this to Never Wrong when he gets back, if you could rewrite a rivalry, what would it be? That is a very tough call because I don't know if there's anything I would rewrite. That's something that is a topic in and of itself, Stryker. I'm just going to say that I'm going to have trouble coming up with something. Rivalry that I could rewrite. That's a great question, and I don't have a good answer. I wish I did. Put a pin in that. I'm going to talk to Nick. We're going to make that an episode of potentially the Kickout. Give it some thought. While we're waiting here, I'll talk about, we've been talking about shows that we've been watching recently. I had a craving to go back and watch the 2016 Royal Rumble. So I put that on recently. My main craving for that, my main reason for watching that is because that was the debut of AJ Styles. I thought that was well done. I enjoyed it, and I think my internet is cutting out too. So this is going to be fun. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Tell you what, while I am sorting things out and getting my internet back on track, I don't even know. Man, I froze. I'm so sorry. Me tap dancing is not a good thing. And the three of you watching live, I apologize sincerely. I feel like an idiot just sitting here yammering away. Royal Rumble 2016 is also the year. So that was AJ Styles' debut. What a debut, because he debuted into the Royal Rumble match. Not only was it the Royal Rumble match that he made his appearance, but it was one of two where the main title, the world title, was up for grabs. The main title was up for grabs because Vince McMahon didn't want Roman Reigns to have that belt. So he was pitting Roman Reigns against 29 other men. So not only does AJ Styles make his debut in the Rumble, which is huge, and the place where everybody debuts, he's coming in a title match right away, which is awesome. Now, obviously, he didn't win. Obviously, he didn't win, but because if you guys remember history, that was the year that Triple H ended up winning his, I believe, 14th title, I believe. Roman Reigns got eliminated before the final two. eliminated earlier than I would have expected. I thought it would have come down to him and Triple H, but guaranteed a new champion, and that was the build to WrestleMania. Was Triple H had the belt, and Roman was back to chasing. Excuse me. And Stryker brings up a good point. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. I'm trying to remember their rivalry. I would have loved to see them work more together. Honestly, I would have loved to see a better rivalry. If I could, I've got an answer for you, Stryker. So I've got an answer for you. Rivalry that I would change if I could, that I would rewrite. I would go back and rewrite the Mania where it was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh boy. Talk about bad. I love both of these wrestlers. Shinsuke came in, won the Rumble, faced AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and then the ridiculous low blow at the end. I would change that first and foremost.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back, Nick. Maybe. Oh, he's spinning again, folks. Stryker on the comment says Shinsuke was robbed. Now, he very much was. I think Shinsuke should have won the title. I think he should be a bigger star than he is and should have been pushed more. But what do I know? I'm just a guy running a podcast telling my opinions. If you are tuned in live, I know Stryker is. If you have anything you want to ask me or ask Nick when he gets back, feel free to ask it in the comments. I'll answer any questions while we're here. But Nick is now known as Nick Flex. Thank you, Stryker. Nick, you're Nick Flex. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're still spinning, my friend. We're tell you what I want to watch. So I will hype up. We talked about what we are currently watching. Something I want to get into more because I was never really into it. I wasn't around in the territory days. Hold on. Let me try and refresh my internet. See if I can see Nick, because he's messaging me. Yeah, he's got his picture up. I'm going to send him what I'm seeing. He can hear me. I can't hear him. Live podcasting, everybody. Live podcasting. I'm going to give a shout out to our good friend Joe Monroe over on the Joe Monroe Show. I did a no-sell roundtable last Friday. I was happy to be a part of that. He asked me to be sell roundtable. And we talked about the movie The Iron Claw, and it made me want to go back and watch some world-class championship wrestling. I'll be back on Friday with the No Sell Roundtable. We're going to talk about the true history around the Von Erich family after talking about the movie. So I've got some homework to do anyway, but it really rewatching the movie really made me want to go back and get into more WCCW so that I can be immersed a little bit more in the Von Erich legacy. Stryker, you ask about the releases. That's a great question. I know that Nick is sad because his favorite Sonya Deville is gone. No, I'm kidding. Nick would kill me. I don't know. It seems like there were people that weren't being overly used, with the exception of maybe Sonya Deville. Elektra Lopez was being somewhat used as a kind of a background player for Legado del Fantasma. I believe that's them. I don't know. Blair Davenport didn't really surprise me. She was kind of not being utilized. But obviously, anytime someone is released, I never want to see it. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, lose their livelihoods. But these people have been in the WWE. They're going to do fine. They're going to bounce back. They're going to be great. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. Our apologies, technical difficulties. Man, if you've never seen a big guy tap dance, you just did. That was CZ tap dancing there while I was off. I don't know what happened here, man. There's not a calm sky, so I must have ran out of my coins on my internet. But regardless,
should I dip out now so that you can tap dance for a little bit?
I don't want to tap dance. I'm not a good dancer. You understand? I saw your comments. You could rewrite a rivalry. Shinsuke was robbed. I totally agree. I talked about releases. What else did I miss?
The rivalry, the releases. I was just playing off of what was being thrown into the comments. Let me scroll back up here. I mentioned Nick Nemeth coming to Dreamwave. That's huge.
Very big. Tickets go on sale, I think, this Monday at 10 a.m. Getting a big name that close to home is a very big deal. So, former multiple-time world champion, different promotions. So, having him just up the road from us is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, the only downside to my job is I don't feel like I can take the time because I'm on the phones. I never know when I'm going to get a call. I can't sit there and wait to buy tickets. I would love to go to this show, but the other side of Dreamwave, those of you who know I'm currently working on a weight loss journey, still a pretty big dude. And if I don't get an aisle seat and Dreamwave assigns where you sit, I'm going to be damned uncomfortable. I'll be perfectly honest. Otherwise, I would love to go meet Nick Nemeth. Maybe that's something I buy a meet and greet ticket for and just go up for that. I don't know, Nick. Yeah. Are you planning on getting a ticket? Are you going to go to the show?
I haven't decided yet. I honestly haven't decided. I was going to probably make that decision sometime either today or tomorrow, but we'll keep you informed. We'll keep you informed for sure. But good things coming on here for local wrestling shows. I want to go back to that card game at some point again, but I think the more fun would be to open a pack and just pull out the cards that you get and do it. I didn't have any packed open. I just had cards randomly sitting here, so I thought we'd give it a try. But hey, thanks for working through it with us. We definitely appreciate it. And I found a card I'm probably going to give it to you. So here's your die.
Uh-oh. Turn it a little bit more. It's kind of blurred.
Which way?
Now it's completely dark. Turn it.
It's camera
to your left. Turn it to your left a little. Bring it a little closer. I can't see it at all, man. I'm sorry. I'm blind. Here, let me take these off. Now I really can't see it.
It's Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. I love it. Trevor Lee, someone else who was released in the last year that someone I wish who hadn't been released. I thought he could have done good things, but if they aren't using you, if they don't have a place for you, I can understand the release.
Yeah, I know releases, we see them. It's like, oh, that sucks for them. But in actuality, it may be what they want because now they can actually go wrestle and make some, go do something as opposed to not being used. So being released isn't the end of the world. See Matt Cardona, right?
Oh,
I mean, that's one guy right there that's totally made a name for himself after cutting ties with WWE. So lots of stuff coming up on the show. We're so glad that you're with us. We're so glad that you found us. We couldn't do this without you. We, of course, are the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. We're powered by Lopez Pizza. We're built by Donor Milan. We're colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. And we're protected by Jared Zook of Country Financial. Episode 173 has been a doozy. That's for sure. The two-man scramble match, we got through it. We hope here at Card Subject to Change that you go out and enjoy the big game. Whether you're into it deep or not, have fun. Of course, enjoy the food. Be responsible. Be safe. And get back next week for episode 174.
Before we leave, Nick, let me ask you: are you a red guy or a green guy for this big game?
I'm a green guy.
Don't tell that to DJ. You'll
Right.
make the tribal chief cry.
I'll have to get over it. Regardless, we're happy that you're here. Go enjoy the big game. Special thanks to CZ for tap dancing this episode and this two-man scramble. We got through it, and we're on to bigger and better things. But regardless, for the Wizard CZ, I am never wrong, Nick Bull. This has been the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Hit us up on socials, and until next time, we'll catch you ringside.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.